Before we begin today, I just want to mention that our friend of the podcast and my cousin Ali-Reza Beheshti joins us on today's episode. And with that, here we go. Ali, we're about to start an episode of the podcast, and we're definitely going to go over some spoilers, right?
We are, but we're going to talk major plot points and how we felt about them.
I hope you still do check out this movie, but maybe you want to go see the film first and then come back. And there's a lot that we're going to dissect, but we have to go over.
Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. Thank you.
So
for the ones who've seen it.
Last time we did an episode together, we were talking about Furiosa as well as Fury Road. And you remember that time?
I do. It's been a while.
And for this one today, we have, I know there's been a lot of comic book movies.
Well, it's like half the movies are comic book movies right now, right?
Yeah.
Can we be real about this? And it's been the case for over about 20 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
It feels like it's driving what few people are going to the movies these days. Because this summer, it's been Superman, this movie, Thunderbolts, and Captain America. And those first two, hardly anyone even went to see those. So, I don't know.
I heard Thunderbolt was good, but Captain America, oh my God, we saw that together.
Yeah. That was
embarrassing.
That was a slog.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it was over. I'm like, this is it? This is the final battle? Oh my God. And the special effects. Sorry, we're not here to talk about that.
So with this one, we're talking about Fantastic Four First Steps. And this one was directed by, I think, Matt Shakman is his name. And I think we were both surprised kind of before even seeing it that right away, the reactions and reviews were very positive. The critics, right? And the...
I'm surprised that the audiences reacted to it the way they did. It's such a different feel than any other Marvel movie that I've seen. It's Kevin Feige was behind this one as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's always the producer behind all of these. And I think part of the problem has been he stretched himself too thin. How many movies, how many shows per year for the last few years was Marvel coming out with? It got to the point where the viewer was taking it for granted, but then Marvel themselves were taking it for granted.
That's what happened about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
you could tell it was such a big drop off in quality. It was unbelievable.
When you have what felt like 20 projects total across movies and TV, with the streaming per year, the story was suffering, and then the visual effects were suffering badly. Yeah.
Wow.
So
wow.
One thing for this one, before we get into the pros and cons, let's do that thing where we'll do the initial score, and then at the end we'll come back and visit it and see if we still stand by the score. This is out of 10. So do you want me to go first, or do you want?
Mm-hmm.
So out of 10, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm going to give it at least an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, I'm going to give it 7.5. And there is one big issue that I had that I kind of the alluded to about, which is getting bigger and bigger in my head as we are, as time is passing. So we can discuss that. But otherwise, if it wasn't for this issue, I would give it the same score.
You know what? Let's flip this on its head a little bit. We always do the pros and the cons. Let's start with the cons. What is this thing that has been kind of really bothering you? I'm curious.
Well, the core of the movie is this being, what was it called?
Galactus?
Galactus wanted their child to save planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they did the ridiculous thing that during their press conference, having come back from his planet or wherever he was, decided to let the world know that they could give up their kid to save the world, which was ridiculous. And then second of all, there was this whole scene about when Vanessa Kirby came out with the child and said, "We are all family, blah, blah, blah." No, look, I am a purist. I am a sci-fi purist, and maybe it's because I've watched way too much Star Trek, Wrath of Khan, 1982, and when Spock said the good of the many outweigh the good of the one or the few, I take that to heart. So no one child should keep the world or be a risk to the world. Come on, you give up your child for the world. For me, it's logic, and logic dictates, as I said, the good of the many will outweigh. They should have been fighting to save their child, but at the end, they should have been giving up their child. How about the fact that there was none of that? So I don't know. The concept that the planet was going to unite behind these guys and their kid and put themselves at risk is kind of silly.
So for cons right now, I'm kind of struggling. Like this movie reminded me of like how I enjoyed the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. The reason why I would say that, I got that feeling from this movie is it didn't try to overcomplicate things. They simplified things in a way that just made it an enjoyable comic book movie. I thought I was sick of comic book movies. This is the first one in a while I've really enjoyed.
I thought Superman was in the same realm of it took there was a okay, so the retro thing is right, right? There's
Mm.
is a futuristic 60s that they portray,
Yeah.
right? I think it's the 60s. They're
Alternate universe.
alternates, futuristic, cars are flying, they had access to more technology than we have in our multiverse or in our verse, whatever. That was very cool. I really enjoyed that. The robot was used well. I
Yeah.
really liked the robot, and he's using tape. He's using the
Like cassette tape type.
yeah, I mean, that's how the computers used to be back in the day, and then you had to change it for space travel versus at home, like
Mm,
cooking. That was cute. So another thing that Pedro Pascal in general has an ability to lift anything he's in.
mhm,
He just is such a good actor, and he believes what he's doing so fully that I thought he was the anchor of the whole thing. What did
mhm.
you think? Who was the anchor?
Yeah, no, I definitely think Pedro Pascal. I think Vanessa Kirby. Again, there was that cheesy scene outside, but aside from that, I thought she was great. I actually think each individual character of the Fantastic Four was great. This is the first time where it was balanced. The guy from The Bear plays Ben. You were just saying the name of the actor who plays
Joseph Quinn.
or Joseph Quinn, and we had just seen him in Gladiator 2. He was good in this. I thought he was the right level of campy, but then could also pull off the serious and dramatic stuff too. And yeah, I thought it was really great. I even liked the use of the kid, the baby.
Well, he brought her back from the dead. So, I mean, he's a powerful person. Holy cow. It's going to be interesting to see how he evolves,
Mm.
kind of like the Incredibles,
Oh,
how
yeah.
that kid evolved. That was adorable. So, I hope they bring some of that in there. That's another retro, family based superhero movie. There are things that this movie didn't do. Oh, which surprised me. I didn't think the special powers were reused in that way. That last part had a lot of the special powers, but throughout the movie, it was more like a family drama,
Yeah.
which was the tone of the movie, which actually is what was refreshing about it. It was
I
refreshing.
And for sure they could do a sequel. I do think it sets it up for more of that.
All of them, all of the last 4 of them, or the last 3 of them done in the past 15 years, 20 years, all were all set up for sequels, and it never happened because they didn't get the money that they was. I'm hoping that people go see this so then we can get a second one with the same people because we've never had a second one.
You
Have
know,
we? We've never had a second
a
one.
sequel,
We've always had the first with
right.
a new crew, and then it fizzles, and then they revamp it for another with another crew. Have we?
One time. The one that had Chris Evans, that had a sequel,
It did.
like a few years later, yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Silver Surfer was the
and Lawrence
sequel.
Fishburne, what was the Silver Surfer
Yeah,
in that
that's
one.
right. That's right.
Let me ask you there, like the villains, the Silver Surfer as well as Galactus, how did you feel like those actors pulled that off? 'Cause
Well,
yeah.
did we get an explanation of why Galactus is eating all these planets? Is
No,
that
but
not important at all? I mean, you're destroying planets left and right. There should be a reason you're eating it for what? Sustenance, for joy, to take away the pain of your childhood.
so there isn't like a thorough explanation, but he says, "I want the child to take over this curse."
Exactly.
It's just put like that, and then we don't get more detail to it. But at least with Silver Surfer, we got kind of an explanation. Okay, she made a sacrifice, and he kind of then said, "All right, you're stuck with me now." And so, I mean, I thought Julia Garner was really great. And listener, I keep bugging Ali to please watch Ozark because like she takes with Jason.
It's up there in my on my list. I just, it seems like an obsession I don't need.
But yeah, I thought Julia Garner was great as Silver Surfer, and I can't remember the actor's name who plays Galactus, but Galactus was pretty damn creepy in this too. He was played by Ralph Ineson. Ralph Ineson. And, some fun cameos. Natasha Lyonne was in it
Oh yeah, that's right.
for
I
little
love
moments
her.
too.
Mhm.
One thing, the soundtrack was one of many things in this movie I felt so much of this movie worked because it blended together and you weren't really fixated on any one part of the production side. You were just enjoying the movie because it all worked so well together. You know, this
You have to create a world and inhabit it properly, and they did it so
they yeah.
effortlessly. And it's not a normal world. It's a strange world.
Oh yeah,
Just touches of different things.
Michael Giacchino was the composer for this movie, and
Mhm.
on Spotify, I saw when the soundtrack came out, and they had the opening title theme, and it was this very percussion, orchestral. It sounded like something out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind or Indiana Jones.
I heard some parts of that. And now, a very interesting thing about this movie, I thought, was there was no world leaders. There were none.
Yeah,
No, there was no president. There was no United Nations. It was like, okay, this family is going to either save us or we're all going to die. I mean,
right.
was there anyone saying, let's throw a nuclear bomb at this thing?
That just adds to the complexity.
I know,
They just let they threw
to
that
just
out.
let it all go, and which is great because you know what? I just thought of that right now, and that's after a couple hours of seeing the movie because I'm thinking about it, but they kinda pulled it off. There was no president. They did not talk to anyone in power. The news was looking at them as their leaders. It was weird.
It
If
was
you really look at that, that's unusual.
But they didn't overstuff this movie with things, and I really appreciate that. Another thing we were talking about, the look. I don't mean just the cool like retro visual effects.
Excellent.
Some of the best visual effects, listener, that you'll have seen in a comic book movie in the last 4 or 5
Because
years.
there's a retro and there's a palette that they use within the special effects, but the special effects are incredible as well.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah, and that kind of an assumption here is that now that Marvel's not doing this, what felt like 20 films and shows a year output, the story can develop, but also the overworked, stretched thin VFX workers around the world have time to do their shots properly. This movie reflected that. Like everything looked
Mhm.
gorgeous in this
It
film.
was completely seamless.
I
Completely.
This is the first time Johnny Storm and The Thing, I don't know, it wasn't always great. And in this movie, I thought even with them, it looked great. Even, I thought I might find Silver Surfer to look kind of cheesy, whatever. It was, again, her character was great. Like it looked amazing. So yeah, like
Thing is usually not very well handled, and this was the best handling of that.
visually acting or both.
I think on both levels. The
Yeah.
visually, because first of all, he wasn't so grotesque hating himself. That was a lot of, they all
Mhm.
had that, the self hatred, the, oh, I wish I had my life back. Oh, I wish I could go dating. There wasn't any of that, which I really liked.
Yeah.
But I do have to say something. When I watch a movie, I'll look at the weakness and I'll say how I can fix the weakness that made it a strength. And the weakness, as I've said again, was this whole weird handling of this child and on one side, and then the world, the earth's ending on the other side, right? But
Yeah.
I would have handled this very simply. He should not have given up to the press that that kind of a swap was even suggested.
Right. They shouldn't have even shared that.
Shared it, and then what would have been really cool is for the characters, the four characters who knew this to be the case, to have an internal struggle.
Hmm,
And that would have actually deepened our understanding of the characters.
totally.
And then should we tell the world? Should we not tell the world? Should we give up the child? Should we all the fact that they were all like, oh yeah, the child's more important than the earth, and we're gonna do everything in our power. No, that was just I don't I still think whenever it comes down to the many and the few, the many win.
But this movie, I go back and forth on it, but I still keep returning to this thing of it's the most entertained from a comic book movie I've been in, I would say at least in 5 years.
Okay, okay.
Because, what comic book movies have come out in those last few years that were okay?
Hmm.
The Batman was pretty good. The Matt Reeves, the Batman that
Yeah,
had,
no, it's the dark one with
yeah,
with Patterson.
yeah,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they do a Zodiac type of,
That was an
feel.
excellent movie. That was an
That.
excellent movie, but it was just a dark, another one of those brooding movies. Again,
Yeah,
the
the brooding.
mood is definitely not something I'm missing. The mood of this movie I liked a lot.
So this is something actually I've heard now twice. People saying for Superman and for the Fantastic Four, why people liked Superman, for example. It was hopeful. You know what I mean?
Same with this movie.
And this one again
Yeah.
was hopeful. You know?
And it was also retro. So Superman had an 80s feel. It was actually 80s.
Yeah.
And this one was an alternate universe 60s, a different style of dress, different values, different morality. It's not as, we live in very dark times. Let's just admit it, right?
Sure.
And as much of fun as that was happening in 2000s, we were a much, much brighter time. But now we can't inundate people already going through hell
Yeah,
with
why
darkness.
keep it? Yeah, exactly. Like, why? Imagine trying to release a series. We're talking, comic book movies, but even shows are have been doing this a lot. If you tried to release another House of Cards now, people just would not be into it. It'd be
Absolutely.
too much. In fact,
Exactly.
I kind of get now to an extent why you're pushing back on Ozark because that also goes dark.
Yeah,
That
I'm
goes
not in the mood right now. When things get better, hopefully,
yeah.
then I'll be ready to parlay, or what do you call it? Deep, dark part of the pool. But I'm not in the mood right now. I
The
would need more Peacemaker.
Yeah, okay, listener Ali got me into, starting The Peacemaker, and I'm so there for it. I finished first season, and I know this is a tangent, but I'm gonna go into this
Because it's
for a second.
another superhero movie with a whole different twist and a feel to it.
Do you
Or
know
not movie, just show.
Yeah, I'm appreciating that both it's not just DC. Marvel, like with this movie, I feel now both studios, they're all getting it now, even Sony, that we gotta let each movie be its own thing, and different types of characters can have different tones. We can go like family and campy, we can go hard R and, like crazy. Yeah, I feel like there is life in comic book movies still, and in their shows. Movies are supposed to be an
An
escape.
escape. And these last two movies, Superman and this Fantastic Four, was finally an escape.
Oh, totally.
So I'm willing to see. I'm kind of tired of superhero movies myself, but I'm willing to re-engage if they're going to take a different tone.
Yeah,
This tone, these last two movies, the tone was excellent.
but Fantastic Four really, it's been a great addition to this summer. I really feel like this is the first normal summer. We've had a bunch of great movies, and then this has been a great one in the mix. I'm actually excited now. Like, where is Avengers Doomsday going to go? Where are the rest of these movies going to go? I just hope that they are going to continue these lessons that they've learned now. Don't put out so much per year. Focus on the story, focus on the casting. This was a great example of what works. There were some issues. It wasn't perfect. I know, like we talked about that.
They made a choice. They knew what they were doing. And I'm really curious to talk to the people in charge to see what their reasoning was, because it simplified everything.
Yeah.
But did it need to be that simple? And were they trying to just kind of shed the ghosts of the deep, dark, brooding, complicated, interpersonal drama stuff that
Mm.
had been a part of Marvel for so long? Maybe that's what they were trying to do.
The shows got really dark really quick. Like, what was that one with Samuel L. Jackson, Secret Wars or Secret something,
Mhm,
Secret Invasion?
mhm,
Yeah, like I tried
mhm.
that one. I'm like, wow, this is some really dark stuff.
I
So,
wasn't able to finish that either.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. It's they've got Disney, they've got their channel, they've got all of this intellectual property.
Mm,
Be responsible. Be
yeah.
responsible. We don't need to have a movie every minute or shows every week. Again, do stuff like Andor. All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You
Andor's pretty
really,
amazing.
Andor is like the best thing Star Wars has put out since Rogue.
Yeah. I want to come back to our ratings. So,
Mhm.
you had said it was a 7.5
Because of the plot point.
plot point.
Otherwise, it would have been an 8.5.
Okay. Do you, and you stand by
I'm
7.5?
standing by it because I felt you can't gloss over one life for the entire Earth.
And for mine, I had put 8.5. Now, from what we've talked about, I feel like I should say now I'm going to bring it down to an 8, but I'm still thinking about how much fun I had with this movie that I think I'm going to keep it at the
Well,
8.5.
if this is not something that bothers you, it's all because of Spock. If Spock wouldn't have said that in The Wrath of Khan and it wouldn't have gone ingrained in my psyche, I would have given it an 8.5 too, but it's all your fault, Spock.
Yeah. But so, listener, this movie is playing in the theater now. I definitely recommend seeing it in the theater. Is it worth seeing in the
Oh,
theater?
absolutely. It's worth seeing in the theater. And it's one of those movies that I look forward to seeing again when it comes out
Yeah, it has.
on video or on Disney Channel.
This one definitely has rewatchability.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say.
Yeah, yeah. Because the style is so beautiful.
You're going to have a blast. This movie is a wild good time. It is in theaters now. Thank you for joining on this episode. Ali, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
This was a lot of fun. Listener, definitely check this one out in the theater. Let us know what you think. And as always, thank you for listening.